digital medicine won't replace doctors anytime soon. But my dear friends, I want to say a word, either the doctors, they have to modify themselves. Otherwise, within a very short span, there may be, that traditional doctors may not be very much useful in, forthcoming years. So either the doctors, they have to be converted themselves to the AI doctors. There will be no meaning of a traditional doctor in near future. Okay. So here, the apps that monitor the conditions or administer therapy could enhance their care, support patients with limited access to the health service. My dear friends, like there are a lot of eyes, those who are observing us. Okay. Now, say for example, many smartwatches can already detect their wearer has an irregular heartbeat, and similar tools are being worked on that could help with the breathing disorders, depression, and Alzheimer's, and more. You see, first of all, what is my lifestyle? Can it be, when a decision is taken place as for the treatment, can it be taken into account or not? Whether my habits are leading for depression. So there are many wearable devices which is guiding to have a digital medicine. The medicine which will be, the decision shall be taken digitally, that will be called as digital medicines. And the pills containing sensors are even being developed, and these send data to apps to help detect the things like body temperature, stomach bleeds, and many more. Okay. So that is how we have to, this is the third one. And the fourth one is that, say, for example, whole genome synthesis. My dear friends, like here, there is a, improvement in the technology needed to design genetic sequences that are introduced into the microbes, are making it possible to print ever larger amount of genetic material. My dear friends, previously, which was not possible, now we are able to print a very large amount of genetic materials, and we can alter the genomes more extensively. Okay, and this can give insight into how viruses spread or help producing vaccines and other treatments. And in future, it could help sustainably produce chemicals, fuels, or construction material from biomass or waste gases. So it could even allow the scientists to design pathogen-resistant plants, or us to write our own genome, opening the door to possible misuse, of course, but also cure the genetic diseases. Now, there are two important parts I want to inform my friends. The first one is that people are saying that in few decades there will be no conventional medicines at all, because there will be two technologies which is taking place. The first one is that one is organ printing, and the second one is the bioelectronic medicines. And bioelectronic medicines, here in organ printing, so for example, the person is having kidney disorder. So the kidney disorder can be, like if I can print an organ like in kidney, and I can replace the kidney, I should not, search for a donor which where the maximum matching supposed to be there, and probably in near future it will be very much cost effective. And the similar way also, the technology has given us a bioelectronic kidney. And my dear friends, I'm happy to share that in 2013, it is 8 years before. Before 8 years, the Japan could develop a bioelectronic kidney. That means an artificial kidney which can replace the organs. So, and what is my point here is that the another technology, in addition to these two technology, all the diseases are now correlated with genetic materials. And we have enough technology to replace everything. And we can find or we can find the treatment in the grassroots level so that it will be helping us to be cured from the diseases permanently. So my dear friends, the next one is that quantum sensing. Here, I always say that, now we have the supercomputer. I think all of you, all of us, we are very friendly with the supercomputer. Now the next generation is coming, that is again quantum computer. And people are saying quantum computer, again, it came into slowly it is entering into the market. But if I say that it is in the atomic level and the computational capacities are very much enormous. If I use the word, what is then how will it be useful for pharmaceutical or in the healthcare? So here we have to say that, say for example, we have 200 millions of cells in our body, right? And millions of reactions are taking place per second. If I calculate total reactions per second, it is trillions of reactions per second it is taking place. Now, if at all, in some cells or in some tissues, some reactions are taking it in differently. So the product of the reaction is something different, which is supposed to be calculated. And this calculation, it is possible with the help of quantum computer. My dear friends, again, I'll be saying that, people are saying that the maximum utilization of quantum computer will be in health sciences. Okay, so here these are the top 10 trends of the world where the top 10 emerging technologies. Okay, my dear friends, we are not away from the digital pill. That means we have a digital, we have an app where we can which is suggesting that if I have the pain, then it is suggesting you take this capsule, and that is what this is called as digital pill. So my contents of the presentation will be introduction, role of AI in healthcare, blockchain in healthcare, what are the downsides of the blockchain technology in healthcare, what is StarTech medicine, and summary. If I define what is AI, I think some people, they say that being a pharmacy, why should I know about AI? My dear friends, again, I'll be using a word that, before 3-4 decades, when the people, the computer entered into the market, people, they started saying, if you don't learn computer, you will be called as illiterate. Now, in this era, if we don't, if we don't learn AI, probably will be called as, will be considered as a illiterate. So my dear friends, that is why, I always say that we have to know AI without having any resistance. So my dear friends, again, the AI means it refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their reactions. Okay, and the term may also be applied to any machine that exhibits traits associated with human mind, such as learning and problem solving. And everything we love about civilization is a product of intelligence. So amplifying our human intelligence with artificial intelligence has the potential of helping civilization flourish like never before, as long as we manage to keep the technology beneficial. That is what we must have to understand. And my dear friends, we'll never disagree that, whatever the developments we have seen in recent past, probably if you say that during COVID, maximum innovation has taken place with a limited resources. And we have learned how to manage or how to do the research with limited resources also. If you see, again, I can know like the efforts are being taken for innovating vaccines less than 12 months. Really, it is a miracle, and that was possible because of the technological interventions. So what is machine learning? Is an application of artificial intelligence that provides systems the ability to automatically learn and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. So here, the machine learning will help us in predicting the diseases, okay? And even this, deep learning also. What do you mean by deep learning? It's a subset of machine learning in artificial intelligence, okay? And that has networks capable of learning unsupervised from data that is unstructured or unlabeled. You see here, like a lot of data is being generated every day. And my dear friends, what is the strength being Indian is our population strength. We have to accept that how we can make use of our strength. And one of the, strength of our country is population. Why we are saying the strength of the country is population? You see, large varieties of the patient, what you get it in India, probably nowhere it is available. I don't say that every people are diseased, but a wide range of patients. Say, for example, if I ask tuberculosis and I want to have, for example, patient group from 5 to 20, that is maximum in India also. So what I meant to say that, but unfortunately, whatever the treatment it is carried out, we are not converting into data. And whenever it is not converted into data, we are not using the treatment protocol for that particular patient for the benefit of others. Now what the treatment protocol has been followed all over the world, for example, for the treatment of tuberculosis in between 5 to 10 years of age. If the data is corrected, in a correct, entered it in the corrected form, and out of all these available protocols for the treatment, we found that, say, for example, the success rate is this one. Then we can follow the same technique to have a, higher success rate. And that is what the deep learning will help in, making a difference between unstructured and unlabeled data and unsupervised data, and to make them, it is a capable one. In near future, if the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's, whenever we look at his speeches and the way the country is in progress related to healthcare, now each and every patient will, the data, it will be mapped with your Aadhaar card. In such cases, what the data is being generated, now a lot of people, lot of industries are looking at the data from the country, and probably that will be, one of the area where we can have maximum income. And that income, it will give the, income for the patient also. So my information is being used by some, data, for some data sources. So I should get the benefit ultimately. So here, instead of the patient is, only it is meant for expenditure, the data is, for that particular patient will be a good source of income. So medicine has become more and more individualized since ancient ages. Okay. Now we are talking about the individualized or personalized drug delivery system, because I cannot be similar to anyone. So I have to be dealt differently. So my genetic, information will be helping us, helping me, or helping the physician to select a drug where there will be no toxicity. My dear friends, all of us, we know that today also it is one of the largest killer in the world, that is the drug toxicity. It may be this personalized medicine, it will help us. And how we can make a personalized medicine? By the intervention of the technology, by the intervention of this artificial intelligence. Okay, so my dear friends, in past 15 years, an explosion of patient data in the form of genetic information and electronic health record. And this electronic health record, as I was talking about, has sharpened, and the doctor's picture of the individual patient and the treatment tailored to the precise needs. Such targeted care is referred to as precision medicine. Drugs or treatments designed for small groups rather than the large population. Why should I take 500 milligram of the paracetamol if my requirement is 490 milligram? And all of us, we know that any quantity which is excess than the requirement as a drug may be toxic. But at present, we don't have a technology where I can get 490 milligram of the paracetamol. So certainly the new technology which is coming up to help the patient to have 490 milligram of paracetamol, that is your 3D printing. Okay. So next one is that based on, say, for example, based on characteristics such as medical history, genetic makeup, data recorded by wearable devices. Now I am using a smart watch. Now it is recording everything. Even these wearable devices, can you just think of these wearable devices will help the insurance company to, to determine my yearly premium for a health insurance. Say, for example, my wearable devices is recording that I do walk 4 kilometers every day. If the person is getting up at 9 a.m. and if the person is getting at 6 a.m. with a walk of 4 kilometers and the person is getting at 9 a.m., why there should be a same healthcare premium? It should be different because this person is less prone for the diseases as compared to this person, where the premium for this person, it should be more. So who will guide, can you just imagine these wearable devices will help each and every one, and which will, these wearable devices, now you cannot lie to anyone. My dear friends, the technology is looking at each and every individual's 24 into 7, 24 into 365 into the number of years the person they will be living. So what is the lifestyle and what is the habits also, that is what it's supposed to be taken into account when you take a decision. Now, how can you, if you imagine, how can you take such a decision with a common human brain? Probably it may be very, very tough, but the AI may help us to do such. So an organization ranging from large corporation to university-led and government-funded research collectives, doctors are using AI to develop precision treatment for complex diseases. I can tell you, say, complex diseases. Say, simple, I am talking about, say, for example, the treatment protocol for cancer. Whether the, for the cancer treatment, should the patient should take the radiation first, second is chemo, third one is surgery. What should be the ideal protocol and what should be the dose of radiation? What should be the interval of the radiation? So there are a lot of conditions to be studied to design such a protocol. If at all chemo is there, then for that particular patient where the cancer, each and every day is different, the stages of cancer. In such cases, what the protocol has to be designed for that particular patient. In such cases, my dear friend, it is very tough. If I take the experience of the people, of all over the world, and for that particular of the cancer, it has been identified. So, for example, 100 people all over the world in 2020. Out of 100 people, they have followed say 10 types of 10 different types of protocol. But out of 10 type of protocol, one protocol out of 100, the 30 of them are cured. This is the highest success rate. So why will not take the experience of everyone to make a successful protocol? That is what the role of AI will be there. So their central aim is to glean from increasingly massive and available data, gets insight into what makes patient healthy level. Okay, so those insights could guide the development of new drugs. Here again, I'm very sorry to say that in past 2 decades there is no new drug, or 1 or 2 new drugs are there. The success rate is very, very poor as compared to any industry. That is what I'm saying, that now most of the companies, they are saying that it is most unfertile land. We don't want to invest. None of the company they are giving service. If we are understanding that the companies are giving service to humankind, certainly not. They are into business. Okay. So here what I mean to say that here the development of new drugs is not taking place. That is what the companies, they are investing now in some other areas where they are expecting that there will be maximum outcome. And that is why they are saying that bioelectronic medicines or organ printing will help them to earn money, right? So here, and my dear friends, one more thing I want to say that, in the childhood, if the person shall be informed, that, that at the age of 40, you are prone, or you may get hypertension. Then what will happen, each and every human being, they don't love 2 things. One is that they don't love to pay anyone, and always they love to acquire money. The second most is that they don't love to die. So if at all the person is told that, you may have hypertension at the age of 40, certainly the lifestyle will be completely changed. The addiction to the smoke, addiction to the other things, like he may be very much cautious to do exercise and all from the day 1. And so, for example, if the person is told that there may be a chances that you may develop a cancer in future, and please keep away from the cancer causing agents, so certainly that will help us, right? So without AI to analyze it, patient data will remain severely untapped, right? I don't know what is happening now, this Zoom. Just I want to ask, is it my screen is visible?
So your home screen is visible.
Yeah. Just 1 minute. Actually, some problem is there with Zoom today, or with my network. Sorry for interruptions. So now what will be the role of AI? So accurate cancer diagnosis, early diagnosis of fatal blood diseases, customer service chatbots. We have a lot of customer service chatbots now. If one is suffering from diabetic, I request the organizer, because many people are waiting for the Zoom to be admitted. So one should take care. Actually, it is disturbing me. If I don't admit, then they are remaining on the screen. So I request organizers to care for that. So then is your virtual health assistants are there. At present, so for example, I am a diabetic patient. Virtually, there are a lot of health assistants which is helping at any point of time. So treatment of very rare diseases, now it is possible, and it will be more successful with the help of AI. Then targeted treatment, like if I say that, how we could develop a vaccine within a year, because we could identify that coronavirus is having these protein peaks. Okay, it could have been identified in a very faster way, and that is what the what the antigen that it has been developed. It could make a good target. Okay, then automation of redundant healthcare task. Whatever the, say for example, once you enter into the hospital, the firstmost task is that to get a card, and then you going to the reception, giving your data each and every time, and that data, what it has been recorded in the big notebook, it is of no use now. So all these processes which can be converted into completely automated process. Before I start from my home to that particular hospital, all the data, it can be shared. So without delay in any processing, I can be taken into proper care without delaying. And all of us, we know that how the delaying affects the healthcare. So management of medical records, already I told you, it is highly essential in our country. Reduction of the doses error, robot assisted surgery, and all of us, we know that in India, one of the most successful story is that knee surgery, robotic knee surgery, which is taking place in Jalandhar, which takes very less time. And this robot assisted surgery, and that this 5G technology, people are saying that it will be very much helpful in robot assisted surgery. And what is the most advantage is that sitting in very remote place in India, I can my surgery can be taken place, the best surgeon of the world who is sitting in New York. Okay. And the incision is also very small, and that is what the success rate by robot, it has been proved to be very, very high. Okay. And the machine, usually it is designed in such a way that they may not make any mistakes. And automated image diagnosis. One of the most important is that fraud detection. I'll tell you how the fraud is taking place in drug chain management. Okay, then clinical trial participation. So for example, as I told you, I want a patient of these 5 conditions. Probably I may not able to identify that patient. So certainly this machine, this blockchain will help me. So development of new medicines, then is your, improvement of healthcare access. Okay. All right. Yeah. So blockchain in healthcare, the blockchain is the technology that already getting massive attention in healthcare. My dear friends, 40% of health access see blockchain as top 5 priorities. Okay. And the global healthcare market spends on blockchain is expected to hit 5.6 billion US dollar by 2025. My dear friends, why I have taken this topic because of this, because I'm addressing to the most intelligent people of the country and who is taking care of many young minds. That is what we have to make our students to be ready to be the part of this blockchain. So the adoption of the blockchain technology could save the healthcare industry up to 100 to 150 billion per year by 2025. Okay, and blockchain in healthcare is all about removing the middleman. So the blockchain in pharmacy, the blockchain technology can truly revolutionize the pharmaceutical sector as a whole, as well as drug discovery, development, and distribution process. Previously, it was estimated that 9 of 10 new drugs failed to make it to clinical trial, and a lot more don't even reach the FDA approval stage. But now the success rate is very high because of these technological interventions. So the big problem of pharma companies is getting crucial patient data in an era when they are not really trusted by people. That is one of the biggest thirst area. The companies are not trusted by the people because of many reasons. Okay, and all of you know that what are the reasons. So what are the robust technology like blockchain, AI, and big data can transform the pharma? The first and foremost thing is that improve the drug supply chain. My dear friends, those who are living in NCR, they are very much aware that, and in India also during that second wave, I'll never mind to say that the supply of drug in the country was completely failed, and because there was no technological intervention still date in our country. So my dear friends, manage an effective health supply chain comes with an added risk and complexity. Or big pharma, because of compromised supply chain, can have grave ramifications, especially to the health outcomes and patient safety. The most prominent beneficiaries of the technology will be the pharmaceutical companies, which lose approximately, my dear friends, the companies, they lose 200 billion US dollar to counterfeit the drug each year. We have seen remdesivir. We have seen, remdesivir has been injected. The injection was injected in the name of remdesivir, where remdesivir was not there. So it is can you imagine what a great loss to all the pharma companies? We were unable to stop this fraud drugs, and it's the right time to be identified what I am purchasing, whether they are of drug which was supplied by the company or it is a fraud drug. So how it can be avoided? It can be identified. Certainly without the help of blockchain, it is not possible. So by enabling completely visibility and transparency throughout the drug supply chain, so blockchain will allow tracking of drugs to their point of origin. It will track point of origin. Say, for example, the manufacturer is in Punta Sahib of Dehradun, and the drug has to reach in Tamil Nadu. At present, it is in Delhi, or at present, it is in Mumbai, then only Tamil Nadu. Whether it has gone to a remote place of Tamil Nadu, it can be tracked like you people are tracking your speed post. It can be tracked. Individual drugs can be tracked, and a record can be kept with the help of blockchain. That is how, it will make a reduction in the revenue loss up to 43 billion US dollar annually for the pharma companies. So all of us, like improve the same. It is a technology that it is well suited for protecting every aspect of the health distribution chain. So using blockchain to improve the supply chain as well as optimizing the efficiency of Internet of healthy things. My dear friends, IoT probably you have heard of, but this is a new word which is coined, that is Internet of Healthy Things, IoT. Again, the investment in IoT and IoT is same. Only one, care that we have to. One thing we have to be motivated, that we have to train our students so that in future they can be a seer of IoT. Okay, so this is a take-home message for all of us, that all of us, we must know what is IoT. Safeguarding internet-connected medical equipment, combating counterfeit medicines, and much more. One of the biggest challenges that affect the pharmaceutical supply chain is rampant counterfeit or falsified medicines. So these fake or compromised drugs are the result of poor manufacturing practices and techniques. That all of us, we know that. Ineffective storage. One more thing, like whatever we have used the vaccines, COVID vaccines, now people are raising the question, was it properly stored till its use? When it was carried, was it stored in the cold condition? So how it can be tracked, how it can be identified, whether the drug, when I am taking this vaccine, is it having the efficacy or no? Then next one is the theft of drugs or medicines and the market penetration of low quality or counterfeit products into the so-called gray market. All of us, we are very much friendly with the gray markets. In fact, WHO also says that this black market or counterfeit medicines market is worth whooping, that is $75 billion per year, but the figure could have been bigger in the reality. Okay, and that is how. So here we are expecting that there will be improvement of the drug supply chain. Okay, so the FDA has warned that 1,000 healthcare organizations and health practitioners in several states that they may have fallen victim into fake medicine rings. Am I clear? And more especially, they were notified that they might have been sold counterfeit Avastin, one of the most sought after anti-cancer drug on the market. We are taking Avastin as an anti-cancer drug, but it is not a drug. It is a falsified or counterfeit drug. Now, the failure of the treatment, is it because of the failure in taking the decision, or it is because of the falsified medicines? Okay, and all of us, we have experienced that the supply of remdesivir and falsified medicine of remdesivir in this second wave. That is why US FDA, my dear friends, it is very motivational for all of us to know that USA has made the legislation of Drug Supply Chain Security Act, which has already been signed into a law. And that is why, it will play a big role, and it will bring a revolution in all over the world. If you dig a little deeper into the nitty-gritty of blockchain, you'll realize that the technology satisfies nearly every criteria that need for a compliance. So these criteria include drug product identification. If I'm purchasing, even at the end point, I can identify by scanning whether it has been a drug which is being manufactured by the company or not. Product tracing and tracking, already have explained. Then product verification, counterfeit medicine and detection and responses. How we can respond to these counterfeit medicines. And notification relevant to agencies like FDA and sharing required information. For example, your licensure information. Against this background, pharma companies might want to join hands to mature the blockchain, because it is a great loss for the companies. So the companies, they don't, certainly they will invest so that it will be very much matured within a very short span. All of us, we know that everyone is working in isolation at present in our country. Hospitals, they are working in isolation. Primary healthcare, there is no, correlation, or there is no data from where, from primary healthcare I can bring into a hospital. Telemedicines, pharmacy, health apps, specialty care, and insurance, all they should bring into together. That is what the role of blockchain. I told you, the insurance company, getting a, I have done a policy, but all the time it is coming to my mind whether this disease is covered by insurance or not. How is it, it also take a part while taking a decision, about your health care. So the next one is manage and access drug trial data for research purpose. Here, what the data I am generating by my company, it is not being used by others. So that is what here, that most pharma companies, they keep their trial data in centralized database, which have to be compliant with ISO, HIPAA, and confidentiality and other ethical and regulatory requirements. Okay. The trouble is that these centralized database make it hard for researchers and drug trial leaders to share the data with right people. That is where the blockchain comes into play. So blockchain in healthcare helps pharma create auditable, unalterable, and distributed databases for storing and accessing the drug trial data. So one, I can give example, all of you, faculty members, just click on Google this MIT Enigma system. It is a fully fledged blockchain initiative that uses 2 crore cryptographic blocks that works in tandem on top of a peer-to-peer network of nodes. In simple terms, the system is a secret sharing platform that allows the researchers to maintain a high level of privacy, and which will bring a lot of innovations in healthcare. Next one is the clinical trial bookkeeping. Again, clinical trial, as I raised a point that how is it difficult to find a patient. Keep accurate medical trials is a very tough business. Staying on top according to the cost during the clinical studies or trials, especially those that last for long periods, as well as known challenge to pharmaceutical companies. So these bookkeeping tools currently available are far too complicated and do not capture the holistic cost picture of the clinical trials. The good news is that blockchain technology can be implemented to keep a track of clinical trial financial, as well as make a bookkeeping efficient, accurate, and easy. So due to inherent complexity of clinical trial financials, companies like Oranger also have announced working with blockchain firms to streamline their bookkeeping and financial reporting activities. The Canadian-based US Oranger just recently reached out to IBM to design, develop, and deploy a blockchain-powered bookkeeping system for the clinical trial pilot project. So this is one that what we should propagate and pass to the students. The first of kind pharma industry is this collaboration will yield a new blockchain solution to improve the quality of clinical trial process and record keeping. Okay, and this clinical trial ecosystem is highly complex as it involves various stakeholders, resulting in limited trust. That is what I told you. Trust is a very big thing, what it is missing nowadays. Now, how to find the right people for the medical trial faster? And how can I have the consent? So pharma and the healthcare facilities spend a huge amount of money and a lot of time finding qualifying and onboarding the right candidates for their clinical trials. Given that only 10% of the new drugs make it to the market, it's critical to identify and recruit the absolute perfect candidates. Currently, there are several different softwares and technology used to pharma to do this. Unfortunately, these do not always ID the right patient. Hence, the need for blockchain technology is, we have to accept it. So two aspects are there from a consumer and pharma point of view. Various blockchain marketplaces have been already launched. So this blockchain technology is used to make the patient clinical trial matching more efficient, more cost effective, and very, very faster. I don't need to ask various hospitals, in this, so for example, in a remote hospital also such patient is available, who is ready, who has given the consent to be to participate in the clinical trial. So technically, blockchain itself is used to track the unique patient identifier. It's a central place to keep a tab on all these identifiers, make it easy for the pharma professionals to match the patients with their clinical trials. So today, researchers try to find the right candidates for the drug trial via patient IDs mapped into electronic health record data. Okay, and healthcare institutions and providers, let's face it, managing patient data, staying on top of compliance and government regulations are no easy work in the park of health organizations. The whole process can be hard, tedious, and inefficient. So not to mention the hefty cost associated with this. In fact, according to the survey conducted by KPMG, 38% of the top healthcare CIOs say better management of electronic health record is top of their agenda and budgeting is required. With that said, blockchain can help improve interoperability, security, shareability, compliance, management, and accessibility of the patient data in many ways. So the first one is the consent management. Okay, already I have explained about the consent management, how we can have a good consent. Okay, then next one is the fill up forms for a hospital intake. My dear friends, it's a big task. I can say that, climbing like Mount Everest. So patient often waste time queuing and filling out appropriate forms. That is what blockchain companies like Calibrate Blockchain looking to change the things for the better. The firm has developed a blockchain-powered engine called Universal Patient Index for its form drop mobile app. You can see, in Google, this Calibrate Blockchain. So what this mobile app does is enable the hospital to use a blockchain solution that allow the new patient to fill in the patient forms ahead of going to the hospital to avoid the lines and to waste time. Then next one is smart contacts. I want to have a contact. First contact is business to business smart contact. The second one is the patient hospital contracts. Okay. First of all, what type of contracts I should have with business to say I am having a hospital, I am having business with the company or the company with other companies. So these smart contracts can help the process, receive claims and send patients. That is where the smart blockchain companies come into play, helping draw smart contracts between health organizations and insurance providers also. The blockchain-driven smart contract system created by TIPCO software in collaboration with Change Healthcare is a very good example. Automate process across all claims and transactional life cycle. Here, complete transaction of the for whole life cycle it can be recorded. Am I clear? And then patient hospital contracts. Now, as I told you in the first or second slide, the role of middleman is going to be, vanish, because the AI will be the middleman and the technology will never cheat the people. Okay. With the blockchain-based smart contracts, like one developed this RoboMed networks, and currently hospital must use a number of complex commercial custom systems to automate several aspects of health care transaction processing, right? So smart patient hospital contracts, on the other hand, present a more efficient, cost-effective, and simpler solution in which self-executing contract rules that insurer and other parties must build on top of the blockchain. Now the last, fourth point is that credential verification for the physicians. Each and every day, if we open the newspaper, we find that, these physicians are fraud, and the fraud physicians are treating critically ill patients. And we have seen during COVID also what was the role of these fraud physicians. Okay. So this is Hast Health is a company using blockchain to ensure that only genuine physicians to make the healthcare ecosystem. They build a credential verification system for the physician to prove they are indeed licensed to operate. So this Hast Health, this partnered with Accenture, WellCare, Spectrum Health, National Government Services, and this Hardenberg Group and HealthLink Dimensions to create a blockchain-powered credentializing system. The solution is actually an exchange platform that provides hospital and other healthcare institutions with access to verified credentials informations, as well as the mean for them to contribute verified information that is shareable with all other health organizations. So the participating health organizations are allowed to define particular rules, artifacts, data, and validation checks for credentializing any type of employee, from HPS and nurses to physician and other specialties. Ultimately, the blockchain-based platform helps doctors and healthcare organizations alike save time and be compliant with various requests. So the next one is that secure data and transfer it safely between devices and health service providers. My dear friends, this is again, where the data has to be shared and what the data has to be shared, whether the safety will be maintained or not. Like, many times it has surprised that, say, for example, every day, at least we are getting 10 phone calls from different agencies. Now, sometime, one time I was surprised how they got my telephone call, because I have given my telephone call to Big Bazaar, and from Big Bazaar has sold my telephone number with my name to other agencies. And by selling, the Big Bazaar got the profit. So whether these data are safely transferred or it is not, that also it has to be, it will play a big role. My dear friends, again, everywhere the payment processing and interoperability has to be checked critically. Say, for example, I'll say that there are some micro payments. I told you, all of us, we know that, like Amazon is making advertisement. If you buy with your SBI card, you will get for 10% cashback. These are the micro payment, and many healthcare companies are also offering these micro payments. So, for example, if you for example, there will be, as I discussed earlier, so if you do exercise, then you will be benefited with this. Or if you do, you take this platform, or you take this policy, will be giving you, say, 10,000 rupees yearly for your gym by so and so. So ultimately, these are the micro payments which supposed to go to the gym. right? So this has to be taken into account. This is about micro payment and how the revenue has to managed, like from patient registration, patient examination, then there will be a coding, and all of us, we know that how the medical coding is helping us. Then how the there is a charge entry, then claim submission if there is a insurance, then payment processing, patient billing, and collection revenue. This revenue management it is a cycle, and it can be managed only with the help of the technology. And it certainly the technology will help us to improve the medication adherence. All of us, we know that medical adherence and non-adherence, which is maximum in country like a tuberculosis patient, which has forced us to have largest number of total drug resistance tuberculosis in our country as compared to any other countries of the world. It is because of non-medication adherence. So that is what if medication adherence will be there, then all of us, we know that the lead to cost the saving will be high. That is, can you imagine? It is $200 billion in the US itself, and 800 million of this in UK. And according to the studies, the New England Healthcare Institute and the School of Pharmacy of University London, respectively. Okay, so this is how we have to go ahead. The next one is that consumers and providers, right? So far we have talked about blockchain only in the context what this revolutionary technology can do healthcare B2B context, that is business to business. But the reality is simple. There are tremendous opportunities for blockchain to actually completely redefine the relationship between consumer and the healthcare providers in the market. So consumers are seeing benefit of the blockchain adoption in the healthcare space. So already we have discussed about medical history management. So for example, I have done the testing of a long list, but is it this data is useful for future or not? That if it is not brought into the central platform, then it is very, very difficult. Okay, so here medical history and management. The medical history, the data often reside in the separate silos. That makes it an strenuous task for those who need the data for patient diagnosis, treatment, and care. Okay, so that is what it medical tourism. We are very happy. And all of us, we know that more than 60 countries, they come to India. That is what we have to encash this one, this medical tourism. Am I clear? And it is possible because, we can, why the people are coming? Because of easiness, because of the cost, because of many more reasons. So how can we make the process very much simplified? So this is sell your medical data on a blockchain marketplace and get benefit. That is what I'm saying. Always the patient, always the giver. But let us, include blockchain so that the patient can earn, right? So here again, if I come into AI-based precision medicine, I can say that it is a very early stage. But my dear friends, it may not take a long time to be matured. And whatever we are seeing, the maturity, it takes very, very less time because of the technological interventions. So my dear friends, again, it will be a great innovations. Okay. So the definition of disease has been changed with the technological involvement in the healthcare domain. So artificial intelligence and machine learning have been utilized. The precision medicine is an emerging approach for disease treatment, and prevention that make into account individual variability in genes. So for example, two smokers are there. Do they suffer for cancer? If they don't suffer, then why? Is there any individual variability? Is there any involvement of environment? Is there any involvement of lifestyle for each person? And certainly the answer is yes. If the answer is yes, then should we take that variability in the genes and environment and lifestyle when we take a medical decision? I think all of you, all the intellectuals will say yes. But do we have that technology at present? And the answer is very sorry to say that no. So how we can bring to take a medical decision? That is what AI will help. So my dear friends, this precision medicine helps physicians determine more personalized treatments for patients, considering individualized approaches instead of blanketed approach for all patients. Okay, so they do this by looking at patients' genetic history, location, environmental factors, lifestyles, habits to determine the plan of action for the treatment. So with AI, it takes a precision medicine to the next level and increase the accuracy and prediction of outcome of patient. My dear friends, if I can make a prediction, yes, if I follow this protocol, this will be the outcome. If I follow a different protocol, this will be the outcome. You know, if I can predict, then certainly it will increase the accuracy. Some actually believe that precision medicine is not completely possible without the addition of machine learning algorithm to assist in the process. So to achieve the full potential precision medicine, it must be accompanied by machine learning and AI due to deep learning technology and ability to analyze large data sets faster than clinicians and medical researchers. So not only can AI read the analyze large set of medical data much faster than a human, it can more accurately determine the results to come to conclusion. My dear friends, this is again one of the most important outcome of AI. It will determine the results to come to a conclusion about a patient treatment options and possible outcomes of the treatment. So, but there are various challenges that is desperate in pharma data. So, you know, the data are very random and which data has to be entered and what, still we are not trained. Okay. So this is an area where artificial intelligence, big data analysis and blockchain can work in tandem to deliver the efficiency and accurate results for pharma firms. The good news is that around 61% of the pharma companies, my dear friends, this one is the take-home message which is supposed to be propagated to all our intelligent students. 61% of the pharma companies are already embracing AI. That means if we don't train our students in AI, probably they will not be able to enter into the market with blockchain implementation in the pipeline. So challenge 2, that is data analytics in time consuming and the resources are very heavy. Challenge 3, data inaccuracies and ambiguity around relevance. That is what, again, another one important. That is why the blockchain technology, when it will enter, then it will help us to store and sort their data in the way that it can have a good yield insights that are always relevant and Is it my slides are visible?
Yes, sir, they are visible.
Okay, okay. So, what are the requirements? Just I'll manage because it is not responding. So the requirements are AI and machine learning to this multiple data, then electronic health records, sensor data, environmental and lifestyle data. Researchers are taking first step to, to step towards developing personalized treatments for diseases from cancer to depression. The biggest opportunities and challenges that AI-based diagnostics tools still they are in the market now. The USA FDA has approved imaging tools for diagnosing diabetic eye disease have already been entered into the hospital. If you click on Elizabeth Krakow, who is using machine learning to develop precision cancer treatment for leukemia patient, my dear friends, like here, this patient, this Elizabeth Krakow is determined, for the leukemia patient because the cancer variability and intervariability, it is very, very high. Okay, so the treatments are sequential. So they might require another transplant, for example, plus multiple rounds of chemotherapy and immunotherapy. So what it has to be taken? So who will guide us? Instead of an individual decision, let us take the decision of successful candidates all over the world. Okay, so this is what with artificial intelligence. It takes precision medicine to the next level and increases the success rate of the patient. Okay. Not only can AI read and analyze large set of medical data much faster than a human being, it can more accurately determine the results to come to conclusion about the patient's treatment options and possible outcomes of the treatment. Already have explained such. Now, I'll be happy to say that Ampelion, all of you can click on Ampelion. That is again a leading precision medicine intelligence company. Recently released DX Revenue, a software intelligence platform that uses machine learning to deliver insights to pharmaceutical partnerships. Okay, and the platform uses 34 million data sources from clinical trials. Is it possible for an individual to do that? It is not. So that is what, here, this is particularly important in cancer, where we are moving away from the one size fit all approaches to care towards a more targeted approach with treatment based biological characteristic of each patient. Okay. So the next one, that Sriram Chandrasekhar, this is the conversation of 22nd February 2020. The traditional way of discovering antibiotic from soil to plant extract has not revealed new candidates. So sometimes scientists have recently tried to tackle it by searching the DNA of bacteria for new antibiotic producing genes. Okay. This is, uncovered surprising potential for new antibiotics to combat drug resistance. That is by Sri Ram Chandrasekhar. The conversation is on 22nd February 2020. That is what I want to address. Like a mini sensor might detect simple patterns like lines or circles by using thousands of these artificial neurons. Already I talked about the robot assisted surgery. Okay. And here, that is what I say, that doctors with AI. Okay. It is, like Open heart surgery also, it can be taken place. Already I told you the knee is very well practiced in India, and dental care is very well practiced in various good hospitals. Okay, so let us join hands with our future. You know, that is what you can see, that NHS Ortho Robotics, that is what I told you about Jalandhar. You know, this is the website and where the robotic surgery is taking place. Okay, so the downsides of the blockchain technology in healthcare is uncertainty. Data authorization is a big cost. At present, the investment is very high. Okay, and the rules and regulations are not well defined at present, even in our country. And there is a big problem of storing the data, recording the data, documentation and lab reports are, you know, again, these are the big challenges. Okay, the future perspectives of the treatment, if I conclude that in the very near future, we hope to make more informed medical decisions. Okay, and this medical decision, I can tell you one example. One of my teacher, who is my guru, my mentor, you know, under whom I have worked for more than 10 years. I'm giving the example always that he was, identified with a tumor in brain. And in one of the most reputed hospital of the country in Hyderabad, the team, the physician, they concluded that it is because of this tumor is because of the cancer after taking MRS, you know. But, you know, this gentleman, luckily, he said that, no, I'll take a second opinion before I start the protocol for the treatment of cancer. So he has been shifted to AIIMS Delhi. I'll never mind to say this, AIIMS Delhi. And in Delhi, the same MRS, there was no change in the MRS. They have taken MRS second time, but both the MRS are superimposed. There was no change in the response spectroscopy. But these AIIMS people, they concluded that it is not because of the cancer, it is because of the tuberculosis. You see, can you just think of the treatment protocol from cancer to treatment protocol for tuberculosis? This gentleman would have died because of the cancer toxicity, because of the stress of the cancer. But now, fortunately, the God has given a long life that he is cured from tuberculosis. So how he can make a good medical decision? Okay, so detect disease at an early stage, reduce the use of harmful drug and therapeutic side effects, reduce the time, cost, and failure rate of clinical trials for new therapies, reduce the healthcare cost, increase the probability of desired outcomes, and shift the emphasis in medicine from reaction to prevention. Okay, so my dear friends, this is the Star Tech novels. We have studied it in our childhood. My dear friends, now the Star Tech medicine is the science that practice of diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of the disease. Now, this is the bionic eye. You know, people were saying that it is never possible. So recently in the development, but not very much perfect, is the 3D printing of light receptor onto a glass eye. You know, I told you, you know, two things are coming up now, either electronic eye or organ printing, you know, which they use an ink, and the patient, you know, will have a good vision. Now you can see that 3D printing sockets for artificial limbs. My dear friends, even these artificial limbs are capable enough to kill when the mosquito is biting. You know, that much we are successful. Okay, you know, it can, you know, even it can do a surgery with artificial limbs. It has been attached to our sensors. Am I clear? Then contact lens for blood glucose. My dear friends, how it will be good. Now, I'll just, I'm using the glass lens, contact lens, and that contact lens will have a method to determine the blood glucose level, and I can see my watch that what is the blood glucose level of my body in different interval of time, so that I can control my food inlet in different interval of time. So for example, I'm taking food. Now I'll say that this is my blood glucose level. How it will be a win-win situation, right? So next one is the virtual dissection table. You know, like here, you know, there is a Google Glass. You know, this is a device called as virtual dissection table. Might make it easier. The virtual dissection table allow instructor to virtually dissect a human body, identify diseases, and teach surgical procedures without using a cadaver. The next one is that robotic assistance. You know, already you know that each and every person can be assisted with a robot. And my dear friends, many people, many youngsters, they are very fond of making tattoos. Okay, now this can be with a glucose sensor, blood glucose sensor, and these tattoos are placed in the body to transmit vital signs to the medical devices for continuous monitoring. And these biometric tattoos, you know, probably this is a new term for many of us. These biometric tattoos can transmit medical information discreetly, allowing for easier communication with the physicians. And sensor in teeth, you know, how much I have consumed the food. Now I cannot lie. You know, you cannot say a lie to a doctor now. No, I'm taking a very less amount of food as you have prescribed. You know, then printed skin, and all of us, we know that the skin at present, it is very vital organ for a lot of drug testing. Now we are struggling to make a testing of transdermal patches, but if I can print, and it is successful now, it is not you know, a story now. Ninth is in silico clinical trial. Already I have explained that we don't need to carry out the clinical trial in silico. And my dear friends, why we should not have a single equipment for all type of testing? My dear friends, I am suggesting all of you, please click on tricoder. Still more futuristic than the present, the tricoder from the popular so StarTech is on development. A contest is in place to see who can pull together the best functioning device that could scan a Bing and receive medical grade information more than the just vital signs. This is what the StarTech medicines. Okay, so the summary, the artificial intelligence has proved itself as a breakthrough in this age of information, and specifically due to its application in healthcare domain. Needless to say that using blockchain technology in healthcare is not a very simple task. It has some great benefits as well as some severe drawbacks. AI helps in detection and prediction of diseases, and upon accurate diagnosis of a disease, prescribes the appropriate treatment for the patient. However, it is expected that in the coming years, blockchain and AI will excel in the healthcare app development and thus make it easier for people to get better treatment. So if any queries are there, certainly I'll be happy to address. Okay. And if you have any queries, to write to me. This is my email ID, drjagannathsau@gmail.com. Okay. And my special thanks, and always the faculty members, the most awaited slide. Thank you all. And once again, I'm very much thankful to ITS College of Pharmacy, Dr. Praveen Kumar and Dr. Sadish Kumar, for inviting me so that I could interact with the most intellectual people of the country, who are the society is having a lot of expectations. Thank you all, and thank you to AICTE for sponsoring this program. And I request the organizer to take a few questions so that I can reply or I can address to those.
Thank you very much, sir. There is a question from Ms. Smriti Sahu. How can we minimize, control, and eradicate any error if happens in AI healthcare, or in case the mechanism fails?
Yeah, very good question, Dr. Sahu. Like how you can minimize. So, for example, the person is, if I talk on this genomic, that personalized medicine. If I talk on personalized medicine, now my gene will decide the drug, my gene will decide the dose, my gene will decide the dose regimen, which can be acceptable, which can be tolerable. Am I clear? That is what I told you, the errors can be minimized. And second of all, if you find, we were in the process when I was in KITE, we were in the process of developing an app where it will give a signal that when you miss the dose, it will give a signal to the, buzzing. It will be there to remind me that what, to take that doses form. So that is how we can minimize the side effects. I told you how to minimize the toxicity, drug toxicity. That is what one of the largest killer of the world, I can say that. And this death or disabilities, I am talking about death and disabilities. Disabilities means because, till death also we have seen the disabilities because drug. So for example, like there is a neurological disorder. It is because of the vaccines, how it can be identified. What type of vaccine is suitable for me? So this can be easily or we can take a medical decisions by intervention of AI. So what the AI basically it will do? It will take all the data which being generated in all over the world, and it will suggest you, which is not possible. Now I am taking a decision of a single physician. Instead of that, I'll take the decision of which will be generated by AI, and AI will take a decision by, including all the healthcare parameters being generated in all over the world. I hope I have addressed to this answer.
And there is one more question.
Sir, madam.
It is from Dr. Neelam Singh. Is it possible to modify the data once it is written in blockchain?
Yeah, very good question, Dr. Neelam. First of all, when we are entering the data, now it will be a security. You cannot change the data. You should not change the data also. The data should not be changed at all. Otherwise, the manipulation of the data will be taking place. However, if the conclusion is different, say for example, now the conclusion is something is there, but the conclusion is changed. Like I told you, one of the example is that the person was having tuberculosis, but it has been concluded that it is because of the cancer. In such cases, it can be changed, but the authority will be given to certain people to change it, not for all.
Thank you, sir.
Again, it will be a mesh. We cannot have a concrete data. Okay.
Thank you, sir. This is all from the query section.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this enlightening session by unfolding the secrets of artificial intelligence. I really feel proud that 5 out of 10 emerging technologies of 2020 are from pharmacy profession, and the world is looking forward to us for artificial intelligence in healthcare sector. I am sure that young and energetic audience present here will feel motivated to pursue work in this emerging field. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. So nice of you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
sir.
sir.